Good evening. My name is Caroline Pinyan. I am with Alpha Insurance. And tonight on Bedtime Stories, I'm going to read Donald Duck and the County Fair. Donald Duck was excited. Daisy had agreed to go with him to the county fair. Donald puffed out his chest. He couldn't wait to show off for Daisy. He was sure he could ride any ride and win any game. What should we do first? Daisy asked. How about the roller coaster? Donald suggested. The loop, the swings, the speed swings. Nothing scares me. Daisy peered around the fairground. Look, she cried. The spinning teacups. I love that ride. Donald said. Looks like a little boring, but if that's what you want to do. Daisy grabbed Donald's hand and pulled him over to a teacup. The ride started and Daisy took the spinning wheel. The teacup made a lazy circle. Donald leaned back in his seat, relaxed. Daisy began to turn the wheel more quickly. This is fun, she laughed. Donald's stomach flipped and flopped. Daisy, he said, gulping. This is too much for you. We should slow down. But Daisy was happily waving to Mickey and Minnie as they flew past, and she didn't hear Donald. When the ride stopped, Donald stumbled out of the teacup. Are you okay? Daisy asked. Donald swallowed. Of course, he said, and tried to smile. But let's do something a little slower next, so you stop feeling dizzy, he added hurriedly. How about the carousel? Donald felt better as he hopped onto the carousel. He picked the biggest, most powerful-looking horse he could find. Daisy chose a pretty yellow pony beside him. Donald grinned. He was sure he could make Daisy forget all about the teacups by showing her some real rodeo moves. As the carousel started to move, Donald let go of the pole. Look, Daisy, no hands, he cried. Then he stood on the horse's back and waved his hat like a cowboy. Be careful, Donald, Daisy cried. Donald laughed. Cowboys aren't careful. Watch this, Daisy. I'm going to jump onto the horse in front of me. Donald leaped, but the carousel was slowing down. Donald flew over the horse's head and landed flat on his back. When the ride stopped, Daisy hurried over to Donald. Are you okay? She asked. Of course I am, Donald declared. I'll make it next time. Maybe we should try something else, Daisy said. How about a game? Donald and Daisy walked to the game booth. They stopped in front of a table with a big jar of jelly beans. A sign next to the table read, Guess the number, win a prize. Donald walked around the jar, examining it from every angle. Scratching his head, he muttered, 100 jelly beans times 20 plus 30 plus another 273 times. I've got it, he shouted at last. 1,921,052. Sorry, said the booth worker. Try again. What? Donald cried, stomping his foot. How could I have gotten it wrong? Donald, Daisy called from a nearby booth. Isn't this teddy bear adorable? Donald raced over to the booth. If he could win the bear for Daisy, it wouldn't matter that he'd lost the jelly bean game. Donald bought a ticket, grabbing a fishing rod and dipped it in the water. He needed to catch a fish to win. Donald waited and waited. Finally, he felt something tug on his line. Got it, he shouted, pulling up his rod. You got something, all right, said the booth worker. But it's not a fish. Donald looked down. He had caught a boot. While Daisy went off to explore the rest of the fair, Donald looked around at the other booths. Finally, he spied a giant panda displayed at the next game. Test your strength, Donald read aloud. He was sure he would win a prize for Daisy this time. He just needed to hit a pad with a giant mallet. If he hit it hard enough, a puck would hit a bell and he'd win the panda. Donald handed over his ticket and took hold of the mallet. He swung, but the puck only went halfway to the bell. He handed over another ticket and swung the mallet harder. The puck rose 3/4 of the way. Donald tried again. The puck almost reached the bell. Donald had only one ticket left. This was his last chance. He had raised the mallet high, but he was so tired from all the swinging that he dropped it smack on his foot. As Donald hopped around holding his sore foot, he tripped over the fallen mallet. Crash! Donald landed on the pad at the bottom of the bell tower. The puck flew up and boing! The gong sounded. Donald won the prize. Just then, Daisy ran over. Donald, she cried, I went to the Golf-A-Rama game and got a hole-in-one. Here, I won this for you. Daisy handed Donald a giant stuffed lion. Donald smiled. His day certainly hadn't gone the way he'd planned, but the lion was awfully cute. Come on, Daisy, Donald said, giving Daisy the panda he'd won. Let's go home, all 4 of us. The end. And so that was our story for this evening. Again, my name was Caroline Pinyan with Alpha Insurance, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye.